everyone, and welcome to the Patient Safety Technology Challenge Awards, our grand awards. We're privileged to be here at CES 2025, one of my favorite places, with so many creative innovators. I do hope in the future to see a little more on patient safety, med error reduction, infection control, reducing pressure sores. Many years ago, like 3, we had an idea, we didn't know if it would work, and that would be to give an award out to creative people, whether the undergraduate, high school, post-grad, to see if they could come up with creative technology innovations for patient safety. Didn't know 2 years ago whether this would work, but now we've had over 700 teams participating in 58 different challenge events between September 2022 and May 2024. All those teams were then invited, the winners were invited to compete again among themselves for a national prize. And today we celebrate the top 6 finalists. The teams have tackled some of the most pressing safety challenges in healthcare, and their solutions show the power of tech innovation to transform care, protect patients, and support workers. In just a few minutes, you'll hear each finalist deliver a 3-minute pitch. We have 2 finalists per stage for each category: idea stage, development stage, growth stage. At the end of today's program, we'll award $25,000 in prizes. I want to thank our judges, our partners, our advisory board, my own board, and all of you for supporting this critical work. Following the program, you're invited to come to our booth right over there to meet today's finalists. So let's hear from the innovators.
Hello everyone, I'm Kushagra Agarwal, and today I'm excited to share how we are transforming the battle against pancreatic cancer using AI. So first, why pancreatic cancer? For 90% of patients, pancreatic cancer is a death sentence. But with AI, we now have the power to grant them a pardon. Pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma is one of the deadliest cancers out there, claiming 500,000 lives annually worldwide. Less than 10% of patients diagnosed with pancreatic cancer sustain this disease. But this does not have to be the case. The problem with pancreatic cancer can be summarized in just 2 words: early detection. Like most cancers, pancreatic cancer is easier to treat if it is diagnosed early. However, unlike other cancers, it does not have a screening test. It doesn't show symptoms until late stages, by when it has limited treatment options and poor prognosis. Early detection can literally save millions of lives. So that's where our platform, OncoSight, comes in. OncoSight analyzes longitudinal data in electronic health records to identify patients who are at high risk of developing pancreatic cancer. It routinely screens all patients in the healthcare system, and when it suspects that a patient might be developing a silent tumor, it flags their record for timely follow-up with the healthcare provider, who can then suggest a confirmatory liquid biopsy. We have a proof of concept in place and are currently collaborating with UPMC to perform a research study with over 250,000 patients across Pennsylvania. There are multiple competitors in this space, including companies such as Delphi, Freenome, and Galen. However, these companies start further downstream. They begin with a costly and invasive test without a good way of determining who should even receive them. We come in further upstream. We analyze healthcare data without any patient-initiated action. And this casts a wider net, catching unsuspecting asymptomatic patients, who can then be asked to get a liquid biopsy. Beyond the life-saving potential, we tap into a substantial and growing US pancreatic cancer's diagnostic market. It is valued at $2.8 billion today and is expected to grow to $7.4 billion by 2032. I'm joined by Logan Nye, our co-founder and CEO, and we are both graduate students at Carnegie Mellon University. Logan is also a physician with clinical AI research experience at Harvard Medical School, and I specialize in machine learning and healthcare research. Together, our unique dual-threat medical and technical skill set uniquely prepares us to tackle AI for cancer. We also have stellar advisors guiding us. Dr. Alessandro Panicia is a pancreatic surgical oncologist at UPMC with over 16 years of experience. Justin Olszewski is the founder of an acquired Y Combinator startup, and Dr. Mark Chuti is the chair of pancreas surgery at the Mayo Clinic. We have also won multiple awards and grants, including a safe investment from Carnegie Mellon University. Bringing it all the way back, for 90% of patients, pancreatic cancer is a death sentence. But with AI, we now have the power to grant them a pardon. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Travis, and I'm a fourth-year medical student at the University of Utah. Excited to talk with you guys today about SoundPass. Not long ago, we had a patient who came to us who had sustained some severe head trauma. It was quickly determined that he had a brain bleed and increasing intracranial pressures, so the neurosurgery team was called. They immediately came to the emergency department to place something called an external ventricular drain, or EVD. The way this is done is they measure to a predetermined location on the skull, they drill a hole, and then they push this through the brain to an internal fluid collection, which you can see here as the diamond. That then allows them to be able to remove CSF and decompress the brain. Currently, this is done without image guidance or blindly, and because of this, it often misses, requiring multiple attempts for placement, especially if, as you can see in this trauma case, the ventricles have shifted. Unfortunately for our patient, his ventricles had shifted. Unaware of this, the neurosurgeon attempted placement over 30 times, but was ultimately unsuccessful, and this patient passed away. There are additional consequences to this current approach, where the average number of attempts needed for correct placement is more than one. With each pass, there's an increased risk of new brain bleeds, there's an increased risk of neurologic deficits, and an increased risk of brain infections. Additionally, if decompression is delayed, it's associated with very high mortality rates. This is where our solution comes in. We're developing the world's first ultrasound-capable stylet to allow neurosurgeons to be able to see and choose their trajectory and their target before they push this through brain tissue. As you can see here, this means that they will fan around on the surface of the brain to build a 3D reconstruction of the current neuroanatomy so that they can then choose their trajectory before pushing in. And they'll remain image guided all the way until successful placement occurs. We anticipate this will have great impacts. And we envision a world in the future where emergency medicine physicians in rural areas will be able to place these confidently, or even maybe combat medics on battlefields will be able to place this where neurosurgeons and operating suites are not currently available. Additionally, even though EVD is our first application, development of this technology has applications in other areas in medicine as well, such as intravascular access, pericardiocentesis, and intrathecal drug delivery, to name just a few. To highlight our team real quick, combined, we represent over 200 peer-reviewed publications and 20 commercialized medical devices. And so we're a team that's excited and ready to be able to take this to market. So in summary, with SoundPass, we hope that we will be able to save lives through single-pass EVD placement and never have to lose a patient again. Thank you.
Several years ago, I was observing a laparoscopic minimally invasive surgery. We were watching as the surgeon meticulously navigated inside the abdomen to perform the operation. All the eyes were on the TV monitor as they performed the procedure. And then this happened. A jet of blood squirted onto the lens, causing the lens to completely go red and losing all vision. The surgical team was completely blind to what was going on and were completely helpless. And this happened again and again. It happened 6 times during a 1-hour procedure. We went out and interviewed over 200 surgeons and medical professionals across the country and found that this was not just a one-time incident. This happens in every single laparoscopic case in almost every single procedure. Surgeons have told us it's like driving through a rainstorm with a washed-out windshield wiper. And they've told us it's a huge waste of time, it breaks focus, and there's no avoiding it. These visual obstructions waste procedure time, jeopardize control during critical moments, and aggravate surgeon decision fatigue and frustration. In fact, it's so serious that 1 in 5 surgical injuries have been correlated with poor visualization. And that is why we are developing LaparVision. It's an origami-inspired in-abdomen cleaning device that empowers surgeons to clean the scope while inside the body without removing the scope to clean. This ensures that by maintaining that clear vision, removing and eliminating the scope removals, that you can reduce the surgeon decision fatigue and frustration. It gives back that control and prevents the procedure disruptions and delays. All of this focus on reducing complications and improving patient outcomes. Our innovative device integrates a combination of mechanical cleaning and irrigation to effectively combat fog, blood, and debris inside the body. The novel mechanism flexes and conforms to be out of the field of view when it's not in use. As we've shown this to surgeons, they've reacted enthusiastically, saying things like, "It's about time," and I've been asking for this for 20 years. And that's why we're developing LaparVision. It is minimally invasive surgery you have to be able to see to be safe and effective. And LaparVision offers a unique and innovative solution to make surgery more efficient for the surgeon and safer for the patient. Thank you.
Introducing Real Free. In April 2022, my grandfather was in bed at night. He was tethered to 50 feet of standard oxygen tubing. He got out of bed and tripped over that tubing. This sent him to the hospital. Looking back on this all could have been prevented. You might not be familiar with supplemental oxygen tubing because, like my grandfather, he was tethered to it 24/7 at home. Does anyone know why oxygen tubing is bright green? It's for fall risk prevention. Every year, there's over 500,000 falls while on supplemental oxygen tubing. Falling is the leading cause of injuries for elderly patients. These falls are costly, averaging over $30,000 when sent to the ER. When we were creating a solution for my grandfather, we posted a video of our prototype online and it went viral. We did over 100 customer discovery interviews. Well, why is this important now? There's 2 words, silver tsunami. Baby boomer generation is entering long-term care right now. Our grandfather was dealing with tangled up tubing and was in a walker at the time. Our solution is the RealMate remote. It's a class 1 medical device that retracts 50 feet of standard oxygen tubing with a 1-button wearable remote. It unreels as you move around. We currently have a patent pending and over 8,000 hours of end-user testing. This is an accessory to the oxygen concentrator or tank. It plugs into the wall and unreels freely as you move around. It offers speed control for different levels of mobility. There's 2 competitors that are currently on the market. Tidy tubing wasn't a solution because it had a pull of resistance on the user's end. O2 remote is a white bin that piles the tubing and doesn't organize it. The RealMate remote was designed for the pain points that my grandfather was dealing with. This is an $8 billion industry. We have a letter of intent to sell to CareLink. CareLink is a durable medical equipment store in Michigan. They have 90% of the long-term care market. We will achieve $400,000 in revenue in 2025 based off this letter of intent. We also have the RealMate Retract. These are replaceable cartridges, wall-mounted, and doesn't require electricity. This is intended for the 4.2 million hospital patient rooms that supply oxygen. My name is Austin Pollock. I'm the co-founder of Real Free. My background is in mechanical engineering, but I would not be here if it wasn't for 50+ advisors and industry experts. We currently are asking for funding for a phase 2 of our electrical safety testing and to help us register in the FDA by the end of this month. Help us keep a promise we made to our grandfather. Thank you.
Despite our terrible maternal mortality crisis, the reality is that the vast majority of our mothers never needed to die during childbirth. And the reason the CDC cites for this is because we lack the technology to be able to understand who's high risk before they actually complicate. Our doctors are pretty much going in blind. And the issue here is that for the longest time in the obstetric field, catching patients before they have life-threatening complications like preeclampsia or postpartum hemorrhage is seen as an impossible task. We wait for patients to complicate. The earliest our obstetricians have is looking at a patient's previous pregnancy information, and that's only right about 20% of the time. If you look very broadly, the vast majority of doctors wait for mothers to bleed out on the delivery table, or they wait for mothers to have life-threatening complications like preeclampsia before they actually intervene to give medication or do damage control. The closest to early identification that they might have is invasive blood tests or expensive biomarkers. The issue is that all of that only happens when you're 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and there's very little to do. There's a desperate need to go and intervene before a complication even develops as early as the first month of pregnancy. And that's exactly what Elythea does. We use basic point-of-care information, things like your demographic information, your clinical history, as soon as the first available visit, in many cases, as soon as the first week of pregnancy. And based on that, give risk scores for these major complications and exact interventions for doctors to go and prevent the complication from ever happening to begin with. We have been rigorously peer-reviewed and published over a dozen studies in leading obstetric journals across the country. And we've actually been able to show on the fields across thousands of mothers, just like these in our Nigerian trials, that we actually make a difference. And we've been able to show that across thousands of mothers, we can actually save their lives when we catch their complications early and allow doctors to give them life-saving medications and life-saving interventions that they wouldn't have otherwise allocated for these mothers. Broadly, we did one of the largest randomized controlled trials on this subject to date in the entire world, and we've been able to show stellar results. For reference, miracle drugs hailed by massive pharmaceutical companies have half the results that our studies have been able to show. We have been able to show a drastic reduction in ICU admissions, nearly a quarter of C-sections gone, yes, both statistically significant, nearly half, cutting the rates of severe maternal morbidities in half, and along with other complications. So we ask you to join us so that any mother, whether it's one in Nevada or one in Nigeria, deserves an equal right to living after giving birth to her child. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Paige Finkelstein. I'm a surgeon, MIT-trained engineer, and I'm the co-founder of ERinfo. As both an EMT and physician, I have personally experienced how not having the correct information about a patient, not being able to identify them, and not being able to access that medical information during an emergency, it increases their risk and can compromise their care. I also learned that by not having patient information, it causes a huge financial strain in our healthcare system. ERinfo is the first and only company to apply machine learning and AI to address these patient safety issues. We're a multi-patented mobile application designed by medical providers for medical providers that seamlessly integrates into a patient's emergency care journey. We use a patient's picture to identify them, which eliminates the need for any form of ID or other identifiers. If there's a match, ERinfo allows for access to that patient's medical and demographic information. If there is no previous information available, ERinfo starts a new patient record and to begin to formalize the patient process. This feature is particularly beneficial during mass casualty incidents and natural disasters. ERinfo stands to have a significant impact on reducing patient harm as we unleash the power of AI to replace traditional identification and information retrieval processes that have historically not worked very well. And our technology allows providers to triage patients more effectively and efficiently because we can identify patients that are otherwise non-communicative or unconscious. Providers have to treat everyone who comes in through the door of the ER, and every day that includes people who can't, for a number of reasons, explain to us who they are, what's going on with them, or give us their history. With ERinfo, we can now better help those patients. Independent studies have shown how ERinfo can have a substantial impact on reducing patient harm. ERinfo is 15 times more likely to identify patient contraindications, 13 times more likely to allow access to a patient's medical history, and 4 times more likely to ensure that a first responder transports a patient to the preferred hospital, improving continuity of care for that patient. ERinfo can help prevent many medical errors by highlighting things like allergies, medications, and pre-existing conditions. In the US alone, there's over 145 million ER visits every year. And ERinfo's ability to reduce patient harm stands to significantly disrupt the way emergency healthcare works in this country, and also globally as well. The sustained impacts of an innovative technology like ERinfo not only provides improved safety and resource efficiency, but also financial savings. And of course, the technology is easy to use and firefighter friendly. So we'll be over there. Please come by our booth, and thanks for learning about ERinfo.
Okay, so this is the big moment, and it's really hard to give an award because everybody on the stage today deserves an award. We thank them all to opening our minds to what's possible, 6 innovative ideas for how technology can advance patient safety, and there's so many more. What we really need is a market for patient safety, which means that our health systems regard this as a critical investment part of their business model and not an added cost. We've had the privilege in doing this of witnessing 6 standout performances, and we will have 3 standout winners from each category. So let's begin with the idea stage, recognizing the most promising new concept according to our judges. Please join me in congratulating SoundPass Medical from the University of Utah. Please come to the stage. There will be also a financial award to everybody who was on the stage today. Thank you. Stay here. Next, we move to the Development Stage Award, which honors a solution that's well on its way to transforming patient safety. Congratulations to Bloom Surgical from Brigham Young. We're heavy on Utah. Something in the water in Utah, right? And finally, our Growth Stage Award celebrates an innovation ready to scale and make a significant impact. The winner goes to Elythea from Brown University. Elythea. Tom. We do want to say that our talented runners-up will each receive $1,000, $250 to help them build their solutions. Galen Health, Real Free, and ERinfo, your innovations were extraordinary. Please give a round of appreciation. Thank you again to CES 2025 for allowing us to bring this important issue, patient safety, to the stage. Thank you all, but I have to give a special thanks. Ariana, come up on stage. Ariana Longley, none of this would have been possible without her. So we're now going to take photos. Thank you all for coming to this presentation.